Hello everybody, I'm Rusty. I want to welcome you to Island Breeze Tropicals. So welcome to another episode of the Bromeliad Family Tree, and today we're going to be talking about the genus Tillandsia. So you know what? The sun is shining, the island breeze is blowing. It's time that you and I got growing. Come on, let's have some fun, and let's talk about Tillandsias today. So today we're going to be looking at another branch in the Bromeliad family tree, and it's my favorite genera, I think, of all of them, and that's Tillandsias. Now some people call them air plants, and it's not because they don't need water, it's because that a lot of the Tillandsias will not grow in a substrate, will not grow in soil, out in the air plant, and they are so versatile. So in the early days of the channel, we did a video on Tillandsias. It does have a little bit more detail on care that I'm going to go into here. I suggest you look at it, and it'll give you some ideas about how you can grow your own. Now, Tillandsia is a huge genus. The last time I looked, I think there were 572 species. That's a lot. And there are numerous cultivars. So what makes Tillandsia such an interesting bromeliad genus is that they come in all sorts of different shapes, sizes, and colors. Now the vast majority of Tillandsias that you're going to come in contact with are going to be what's called air plants. So that simply means that you don't plant them in soil. Now that's not true for all of them. I'm going to show you some exceptions in a little bit. Now in our previous video, I showed how to water them, and basically you need to get these thoroughly wet. Don't mist them. They really need to have water, and they have specialized cells in the leaves called trichomes. But if you see a silver color on a Tillandsia, that's generally those specialized cells that enable this plant to take water in. Now because of those specialized cells, you can grow Tillandsias hanging in mid-air just like this. Now I do water these. They happen to be undercover a lot of the time. I don't have these growing out in the shade house. These are hanging right off of the plant deck, and I do soak them with water about once or twice a week. And look how much this has grown. This started out as one plant, and as you can see, it's making quite a grouping there, and like a lot of other bromeliads, they will produce pups. And if you grow them for a long time, you will get great big balls just like this. So this is one of my favorites, and this is called Intermedia. And Intermedia just hangs like this. It produces new pups all the time, and I can't even get this in the frame to show you, but this is a really interesting bromeliad. And again, you can take this inside during the winter. It will need water, don't forget, and give it a good soaking, but it does have specialized cells that will take in water. Now, although almost all Tillandsias are what you would call air plants, again, they need to have water, but they will not grow in a substrate. There are some that will actually grow in soil. Now this doesn't look much like the other ones that I am going to show you. And take a look at this. And this is called Tillandsia crucofiana. And as you can see, this is just a huge, huge plant. So I just showed you the giant of the group. Now look at this. This, you can hardly see it. Now you can see it a little better with the black background. This is its adult size, and this is called Ionantha van Heningii. And here's another really small one, and this is another Ionantha type. And this is called Guatemala red form. Now this will flush when it comes into its flowering sequence, and it will flush red. So just a reminder, For more detail on how to take care of your Tillandsia, please go to one of our previous videos and it will explain to you how to water and all the different ways that you can grow this genus. So as you can see, I have a few Tillandsias here that I'm growing at the tangle, but I want to take you on a tour of my favorite place, Sundance Orchards and Bromeliads in Fort Myers, Florida, and I'm going to show you a huge collection. But before we go to Sundance, a bit of an apology. The sound quality is not the best. Sundance Orchards and Bromeliads has a lot of ventilation fans. You need that when you grow plants in greenhouses and shade houses, so it's going to be a little bit noisy. So come on, let's have some fun. Let's take a tour. Now, as you can see, there are quite a few Tillandsias here at Sundance, and tray after tray after tray after tray of them. And again, you can see that they're wet, so they watered this morning, and all sorts of different colors and shapes and sizes, and also flowering structures. And they can be hung no matter where you live and brought inside during the winter if you're not in a frost-free zone. Now, on one of our first videos, we showed you a Tillandsia ball. Now, this Tillandsia ball is pretty big. I'd say it's about maybe, I don't know, 14 or 15 inches across, and it is kind of old. But you can grow them just like this. You start out with a small plant, take care of it, give it adequate water, and it will grow to be this size given enough time. This is a Tillandsia tree here at Sundance, and as you can see, there's quite a few Tillandsias growing in this. No matter where you live, if you had the space to take this inside during the winter, you could grow Tillandsias just like this. But it doesn't have to be this large. And that is the good thing about Tillandsias, is that they are small enough that you can find space for them anywhere you live. So we're here at Sundance Orchards and Bromeliads, one of my favorite places, and I want to show you some Tillandsias that they have growing here. This is another cross. This is called Tillandsia nidus, and it's a cross between fasciculata and ionantha. And this gives a really good shot at the flower structures on this Tillandsia. This is, again, Tillandsia nidus, and really, really pretty, I think. They were watering this morning, so the colors are not quite as vibrant, but gee whiz, take a look at this thing. And this is Tillandsia capitata, and this is a maroon hybrid of it. They all generally have a reddish color, and even when it's wet like this, having just been watered, it's pretty bright, isn't it? So as you can see, this is one of the flowers. Now, this particular plant is just about at the end of the flowering sequence, but take a look at the contrast between that purple and the yellow and the red of the leaves. Now, here's a different kind of inflorescence. This is called Tillandsia majestic. Again, it is a hybrid. And oh, by the way, all of these that you see have never been taken from the wild. Of course, if it's a hybrid, it means that it was grown in cultivation. But even if you see a species, those were not wild collected. Those are grown in cultivation. Tillandsias are grown quite a bit. This is another fasciculata hybrid, and this one is called Tropiflora, and it's named for Tropiflora, who's known for their bromeliads in southwest Florida. So I do have to apologize. I am not going to take the name tags off. We are at Sundance Orchards and Bromeliads. They're kind enough to let me set up a little studio here so that I can show you close-ups of their Tillandsias. And quite honestly, if I take the name tags off and I've got a whole bunch of them sitting here, I might get them mixed up. Now, these two are both called Ionantha. Ionantha is identified by its structure, and as you can see, it has that cone-like structure to it. These are not particularly big. Let me put my hand down in here. So you can see that these aren't all that big, and they are really good for making Tillandsia balls. In the future, I'm going to show you how to attach these to certain pieces of art. And most of the Ionanthas, when they come into flower, will flush a certain color. On the left-hand side is called Ionantha druid, and it will turn yellow. This is Tillandsia gardneri. It is native to Trinidad. And again, all of these are fairly wet. If this were dry, you would see just how silver this particular Tillandsia is. And those structures that make it silver are called trichomes. And trichomes are structured that allow the plant to take in water. Now, this is another Tillandsia called Streptophylla. This can get a little bit larger than this. And I'm trying to get it all into the frame. But as you can see by my hand, this is pretty large, so this would make quite a statement on a piece of wood or hanging in midair. So I want you to see how large this Tillandsia is. This is a Tillandsia fasciculata hybrid. Don't know who did the hybrid on it, but it is really, really large. Fasciculata is a species that you will find in southwest Florida and in South Florida. And I'm going to reach around and try and get my hand up there just so you can see how large this is. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed learning about this branch of the Bromeliad family tree. I really like Tillandsias. I think you will too, and I think you ought to add these to your collection. They're really, really versatile, and you can grow these no matter where you live. All you have to do is they're really, really versatile, and you can grow these whether you live in the subtropics, tropics, or in a temperate zone. You can bring them inside during the winter. So no matter where you are, I hope your sun is shining. I hope you have an island breeze blowing. I know that you need to keep growing and have lots of fun. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time.